Man, I don't care what nobody say. Chris Paul's a top 10 point guard of all time. He's a top 3 pure point guard of all time. Yo, what's good? Hey, today we're going to be reacting to Kendrick Perkins saying that Chris Paul isn't a top 10 point guard of all time. I can't talk sometimes, which is quite asinine to me. Chris Paul's a top 10 point guard no matter. If I feel like the point guard position should be broken into 2 categories now since it has transcended more than any position, I feel. Point guards were once asked to control the offense, get the offense into the sets and facilitate. Now point guards are more so asked to score. So with that being said, if we're going off pure point guards, Chris Paul's a top 3 pure point guard of all time. My top 3 pure point guards of all time will probably be Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, and I probably will be stuck between Steve Nash and Rondo. I am not considering John Stockton or Magic Johnson in my top 3 pure point guards of all time, just off the fact that I don't think they were that good. That's just my opinion. And if we talking about greatest point guards of all time, I'm gonna go with Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, and yeah, those are my 2.
I don't have CP3 ranked above Russell Westbrook. Like, did CP3 do a lot of things, change the franchise, win a
CP3 got 20,000 points and 10,000 assists.
lot of games and things? Yes, absolutely. I would never take that away from him. Since he was drafted with the New Orleans Pelicans, he changed that franchise. They were a winning organization, right? He goes to the Clippers, winning organization. Goes to the Phoenix Suns, winning organization.
Mind you, all these teams he's naming were not winning organizations before he got there. They were not. New Orleans was not. The Clippers were not. Yeah, Vinny Del Negro. Hell no. Phoenix Suns, they were not. The Rockets, they were solid. They had that Harden thing going on. They were solid. OKC, they got a history. But come on now.
But when it comes to accolades, yes, championships or finals MVP, obviously, but CP3 don't have one MVP. And I'm not trying to be critical.
Jason Kidd doesn't have MVP.
I'm not trying to downplay his career.
There's the Mount Rushmores of kind of modern day, and that's Magic. I would say John Stockton. I would put.
This is worse. He's worse.
You got Magic and John Stockton at the top tier. Out of here. Rondo's better than them.
And if a player didn't go on to win an MVP, but you thought that year they should have won an MVP, why does that then change your opinion because everybody else thought something else? That doesn't make...
If that's the case, if this is the case, Chris Paul does not have an MVP, y'all can't be mad when people don't put Kobe in the same tier as LeBron and Michael Jordan. They got 4 and 5 MVPs. Kobe only has 1. So based off this logic, Kobe's... I'm of the belief that Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are better than Kobe. That's just how I feel. But there are people who believe that Kobe Bryant's up there with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. If we're going off this logic, what he talking about with CP3 not having those accolades, Kobe's not a top 15 player then. Jokic is better than Kobe. Am I wrong if we going off this logic?
That does not make any sense to me at all. And we were here in real time when Kendrick Perkins was pushing Chris Paul for MVP when he went to the Phoenix Suns. We were here when he was doing that. So I don't understand how your opinion on Chris Paul all of a sudden changes because he didn't finish with an MVP, not because you don't think that he should have won an MVP, but because everyone else who voted didn't think that. That to me does not make any sense.
And then I think there's another tier. That's where you get into the Chauncey Billups. That's where you get into...
What? Not gonna lie, this is...
I love Chauncey. I love Chauncey Billups. Chris Paul's in at least 2 tiers above Chauncey Billups.
This is a very unserious video, so he has not said Steph yet. Still has not said yet Steph.
Kyrie, that's where you get into a Rondo. That's where you get into a Russell Westbrook. That's where you get into a Chris Paul. These guys that are like,
no way!
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
What did he say? I am a huge Rajon Rondo fan. Now, my list earlier was bogus. I ain't have time to just make one. These were just my favorite players growing up. But, all respectfully, Rajon Rondo is one of the greatest point guards of all time, in my opinion. I think Russell Westbrook is a tier above Rajon Rondo. I think that Russell Westbrook is in that top tier. So, for him to put them in the same tier is like,
That class with John Stockton.
John Stockton.
Really quick, Perk, will you give me your Mount Rushmore?
All-time point guards, I got Steph at 1. I have Magic at 2.
I swear.
I have Isaiah Thomas at 3. I got John Stockton.
John Stockton's nowhere close to Chris Paul, bruv. John Stockton can't hold Chris Paul jockstrap, bruv. What are we doing? What are we doing, mate? What are we doing? All the things you're punishing Chris Paul for not having, John Stockton's literally the same way with less accolades. Bruv, for his career, Chris Paul has averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 9 assists on 47% shooting, 37 from the 3, and 87% from the free throw line. 12-time All-Star, 6-time steals champs, 5-time assist champ, 11-time All-NBA. John Stockton's not. I'm sorry. John Stockton's not touching Chris Paul, bro. He not touching Chris Paul, bro. All these assists, they was already lying about the assists too. At their peak, at his 8-year peak, he averaged 15 and 13. Mind you, we gotta take them assists with a grain of salt, bro. Even when he was at the end of his run, he was top 5 in MVP voting at 35 years old. But at his peak, he was averaging 19 and 10. 19 and 10. John Stockton never finished top 5 in MVP voting. Never. Ever.
Right, in my top 9, top 10, I have John Stockton, I have Oscar Robertson, Magic Johnson, Steph Curry, Isaiah Thomas, Gary Payton, Steve Nash.
This nigga said Gary Payton, bro. He said Gary Payton over Chris Paul. Come on, bro.
Curry, right, Bob Cousy. And when you look at,
I think the highest Stockton might have been in the MVP race might have been like 7. He was never even a candidate, and he went 0 for 2 in the finals. Never even an MVP candidate, never won a championship, actually went 0 for 2 in the finals, can make the list over someone who at bare minimum was an MVP candidate. That makes no sense to me.
Top 2,
okay,
top
fine.
5. Bob Cousy shouldn't be on the list, period. He shouldn't be on any list, period.
Because Bill Russell got drafted. And then Steve Nash is on here, even though you've been on the record several times saying that you don't think that he should have won those MVPs. If it's off of MVPs and championships, then why isn't Shea on this list? Shea just won an MVP and a championship and was the best player on the team. Finals MVP as well. So why wasn't he on this list? On some real shit.
Shea a point guard? Y'all view Shea as a point guard? I don't know. I think he might be more of a... Shea might be more of a 2. I feel like... I know he had the ball a lot, but I just see Shea as a 2. I don't know why.
when you talk about a guy like Chauncey Billups, who just went to the Hall of Fame, when you look at a guy like Rajon Rondo, who might be knocking at the door of being in the Hall of Fame, that's why I put...
Yo, Perk being disrespectful, bro. Perk being so disrespectful, bro. He being disrespectful as... He being disrespectful as... Bro. He putting Chris Paul in the same class as Chauncey Billups and Rajon Rondo? What are we doing? Who do we have talking sports? Who do we have teaching the youth about the game, bruv? What in the world?
CP3 at.
This nigga just sat here and said that Rondo might be knocking at the door of a Hall of Fame, and he's on the same tier with him? That makes no fucking sense. Bro, Rondo's not even based off of your own criteria. Rondo shouldn't even be top 25, my nigga. There's so many other players at the point guard position who either won it.
He has a championship.
No. Walt Frazier also has a championship. And Rondo has two, but Walt Frazier has a championship.
Oh yeah, he got 2 championships.
So Walt Frazier has a championship and played closer to an MVP caliber player than Rondo ever has. So why wouldn't he check off that list? Why wouldn't he be a part of it? If you're going off of Rondo's 2, well shit, Derek Fisher has 5. So why isn't he on that list? There's so many point guards that you could put on the list over some of these niggas. Drew Holiday has a championship. 2. He has 2. So why wouldn't he be on the list? You see how odd it gets? It gets real shaky. Rondo shouldn't be anywhere near close. There are players with better careers who have just as much success, but were a better presence on their championship teams. Tony Parker's another one.
Literally, Tony Parker has 4 rings. Tony Parker should be in the top 10 conversation over freaking Bob Cousy, Gary Payton, and John Stockton. I don't know if how old y'all are, but I was growing up, I was a LeBron fan. So Tony Parker broke my heart twice. He broke my heart twice. I'm like, why can't nobody stop him? Mario Chalmers, why you can't stop him? Dwayne Wade, why you can't stop Tony Parker? What's going on here?
Kyle Lowry's another name, actually. Damn.
All right, now he just named.
You can name.
Low just naming names to be facetious at this point. I ain't putting Kyle Lowry in no top 15, top 20 conversation of point guards. I'm sorry. Can't finish this video. Hey, Perk, I know you burnt out. It ain't much to talk about at this point in time in the time of sports. So you just out here spewing bullshit out here. Man, I don't care what nobody say. Chris Paul's a top 10 point guard of all time. He's a top 3 pure point guard of all time. With the new generation of point guards coming up, we're going to have to separate it. But Chris Paul is a top 3 pure point guard of all time. I'm sorry. And John Stockton is not I'm just going to say this now. John Stockton is not better than Chris Paul. Gary Payton's not better than Chris Paul. Bob Cousy's not better than Chris Paul. Now, when we start mentioning names like Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Kyrie Irving, those different types of point guards. Those is like the new age. They the new and improved age of point guard. Chris Paul is what I was taught to be as a point guard. What I thought a point guard was supposed to be in my generation. But that's when the Steph Currys and people started coming around, and you had to be able to score that thing. Like, it wasn't just about getting your teammates involved. It's more about being aggressive, scoring, and yeah, I'm yapping. But yeah. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Give me y'all's top 10 list of point guards of all time. And then if y'all even feel like breaking it up, give me your top 5 pure point guards of all time. And then y'all top 5 hybrid point guards of all time. Hey, yo, until next time, it's your boy Jay Lynch. We out. Salute.